Okay, gang, section 3.3, number 7. I want you guys to do this by the product rule. There is a way to like distribute this and combine, and it's only the power rule, but I want you guys to practice the product rule. So I'm going to leave it in this form, and I'm just going to use a red pen to help me. So remember, when you do the product rule, you can only take the derivative of one of the pieces at a time, okay? So let me start by rewriting this. So t, radical t would be t to the 1/2. All right, so make sure you guys know the product rule before you go over this so it doesn't confuse you. All right, so product rule. So you first leave it alone. The first piece, leave it alone. Take the derivative of the second piece. So the derivative of this piece, that's 0. The derivative of this piece right here is -2. -2t. All right, because I got this negative here, and then I've got to do the power rule on that. So first times derivative of second piece. Now leave the second piece alone. And times it by the derivative of the first piece. So derivative of this, using the power rule, is that. All right, now you're going to want to simplify this. All right, so the derivative is done. I'm just now going to go ahead and simplify it. I'm just going to add an extra step that might help people just see. I'm just going to reorder this before I do this. So t to the 1/2 times t is t to the 3/2. Because you're going to combine this plus this is 1/2 plus 1 is 3/2. So there's two ways to simplify this. I'm going to do the factoring method because that tends to work all the time and the quickest, usually. But some people may prefer, for instance, to flip this down to the bottom, get an LCD, and then you're done. Okay, so this would also have to go to the bottom. But that might be, you know, on a problem like this, that might be easier for some people. All right, I'm going to do the factoring method. Now, when you do the factoring method, you cannot keep any fractions in there, whether they're a common factor or not. So I have to pull this out. And I'll show you how I balance that. Now, t to the 3/2 and t to the -1/2. So the smallest one would be t to the -1/2. Remember, common factor is always the smallest exponent. All right, now in the brackets will be my leftovers. Now remember, this didn't have a 1/2 to give me, so I have to counterbalance it. So for some people, it's easier to go backwards. Like for instance, 1/2 times -4 is -2. So you got to sort of figure out how your brain is going to, because you have to pull a 1/2 out of this, which means you have to make it a -4. All right, now be careful here because you're going to do this exponent minus this negative exponent, meaning it's 3/2 minus this negative exponent, which means you're actually adding, which means it's 4/2 or 2. So that gets a little confusing. So when you pull this common factor out of this front term, that's actually what's left. Right? The algebra in calculus is going to get intense. All right, now I'm going to do the back term. So I'm taking off the 1/2, I'm taking off the t to the -1/2, and I'm left with 1 minus t squared. I can put the parentheses in here for a moment, but since there is nothing multiplied in front, they're considered non-essential. So since this is positive, and it would be like, you could think of it as like a 1, a positive 1 times anything would be itself, right? Because that's an identity. All right, so technically you don't need the parentheses. So you want to combine in here. So you're going to do the -4t squared plus the -t squared. All right, that would be -5t squared. And then you still have the +1. All right, you could change the order of that. You don't have to do it in the order I did it. Like for instance, you could put the 1 in front, okay? Now the 1/2 here is the same thing as saying divide by 2, right? Multiply by 1/2 is the same thing as say divide by 2. If it's a common factor, it can become a common denominator. And this guy's negative, which means it flips to the bottom. Now in calculus, I'm not going to force you guys to rationalize, so you can leave the answer like this. This is fine. This would be h prime. What is nice, if you feel like doing it, is to write it as the 2 times the square root of t, but you know, that's just apples and oranges at this point. If you got here, that's really nice, okay? Alright gang, that's it on this one. Hope you enjoyed the video. Bye.